All right, the U.S. men's national team 2, Japan 0. Guys, B team or not, it feels good to get a win. It has been so long that we've got a win against even a quote unquote decent team. Although, this is not indicative of what we'll face in the World Cup, but we are so starved. We are so starved for positives that we'll take this. And there certainly were some encouraging things. I think the formation change definitely helped. And I think when you take that formation change and now try to apply it to, some of our better players, maybe there's something to build on there, right? There were definitely some encouraging things today. It's not all good. There's still a lot of players on this team that should not be there. And it is also Japan's B team, and we have to keep that in mind and not lose our minds or draw, conclusions that maybe we shouldn't be drawing. But we can definitely take encouragement from it because man, with the way this program has been going recently, it's been hard to draw any positives or have any encouragement or even really look forward to the World Cup at all. And so at least we have this win, and I think the formation change for me was one of the most encouraging things that I saw from this. The second half was significantly better than the first half, right? So that is obviously another encouraging thing that we can look at and say, point to that. Um, Yeah, this is a good point here by Brett, who says we need to understand that Japan's B team would be ranked number 80 or so by FIFA. That being said, Puli and Balo looked great. Overall, good win. Yeah, I think Pulisic and Balogun both looked good, better in the second half. They weren't as good in the first half, but definitely, I think the back three seems to suit our player pool a lot better. And Tack and I were saying this even in the last cycle under Greg Berhalter, and the last two cycles, to be honest. And we never really got to see it. And you just end up giving up hope that you'll ever see it. And Potch tried it today, and there was definitely some encouraging things about it. Bringing on Ariel over Banks was mind numbing. I know. I know. It's like Christian Roldan still got 90 minutes. Blackman got to start 2 games. And the guy who, according to Potch, could be the best defender in the world by the end of the season couldn't get a single minute because we just had to give Nathan Harriel minutes. Nathan Harriel, who got bitched by a 15-year-old. Yeah, I don't understand that one either. Believe me. It's not all good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to get carried away with the positives because there were still a lot of things, that we do have to talk about. But like I said, it's been hard recently. It's really been hard following this team, covering this team. And so I'm going to try to take whatever positives we can away from this, while also not losing perspective on what this was and the opponent that we were facing, right? And we have to keep that in mind because believe me, there's going to be a lot of narratives being spun now that are just inaccurate because of who Japan trotted out there. How are you guys doing? It must feel good to actually get a win. You guys must be feeling relatively encouraged. Um, I would like to see a 3-4-3 with key players in October. See, here's the problem with a 3-4-3, though. It only allows you two midfielders. And we have too many good midfielders to just play two midfielders. We need to play three midfielders. So I think you take this back three and you make it a 3-5-2, in my opinion, with Pulisic as the second striker. Or you can also play Tillman or Reina as the second striker. But if you play 3-4-3, you have a problem where who's your midfield going to be? Maybe Adams and McKennie. I still think you need an elite chance creator in there, whether that's Tillman or whether that's Reina. So I would take this and turn it into a 3-5-2 where you actually have a creator on the field. And I think that way you still have a pretty good balance. By having a 10 on the field, you don't lose much defensively, but whatever you do lose is covered for by a back three. And I would also feel a lot better about starting Noah Kai Banks in a back three than I would in a back two for two reasons. One, he's got coverage and experience next to him, right? You've got Ream and Richards with him. And also, he's been playing in a back three for Augsburg. And so not only playing, but training week in and week out. They train in a back three to, prepare for games. Tack, how are we feeling?
Good. I mean, we needed. We're going to go through the game and talk about the context of everything that happened. It's obviously not all sunshine and rainbows, but I'm kind of happy that we finally found a way to get a win. Right. Even at the end, when we were kind of like defending for our lives, that I was fine with that. Just I want to see a team that can grind out wins. Now, obviously, there's many players that we're going to talk about that shouldn't be there again, but What I want to talk about is like towards the end of the game, the mentality that we saw of like, let's find a way to get the win, just get the ball out of here. Whatever you have to do to hold on to the 2-0 lead, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that. Just need proper players that we can actually punish the opponent in transition. But overall, I would say happy, but not delusional.
no. And I said, look, it's encouraging and we'll take positives because we need them. This program badly needs any positives that we can hold on to. But also, let's not lose our minds. This was Japan's B team, and we still have no idea who Pochettino is going to call in that October roster. People are saying he's going to start calling up the A team guy. I'm not so sure, right?
I
I'm
think
not so sure.
just one thing to put it is unfortunately we don't know how this game would have gone if Japan had started their best players and all that. We don't. I mean, we can.
I think we kind of know.
Well, we think Japan would have won, but again, we have no evidence of that. We can't prove it. We can't
And you
prove it.
can't prove anything. A soccer game is a soccer game, but
Yeah.
reality is Japan ain't trotting out that team at a World Cup. Let's just put it that way.
No,
That
I also thought Japan was abysmal in the second half. They were better in the
oh,
first
terrible,
one. Second, they were terrible.
terrible. Um, they still created enough chances to beat us and finished quite poorly. Back three means Scally and McKenzie need call ups. Agreed. McKenzie also plays in a back three for Toulouse. They fit that defensive formation really well as center backs. Agreed, but Pochettino's going to say, you will get Tristan Blackman and you will like it.
No, no, no. You'll get Nathan Harriel.
Before Noah Kai Banks, we're giving Nathan Harriel minutes. The guy who got bitched by a 15-year-old in training. Before we'll give minutes to the guy that's supposed to be the best center back in Europe in 8 months. According to Poch, not my words. Poch. Going into October, we need to have a locked in World Cup roster. Agreed, Stephen. I see promise here, but we need to build cohesion in order to get better. Especially if you're doing a formation change, you need to give reps to your A team in that formation change. You can't just throw them in last minute in a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 and then go, oh, it's not working. Yeah, it's not working because you wasted a lot of time on your MLS boys, right? Javier says 3-5-2 is beneficial as Pulisic plays it with Allegri at Milan. It allows Jedi and Des to bomb up the field. Who should be the three center backs? Hope you get Channel back. Thank you, Javier. Tack, remember the last cycle where you and I were begging for a back three for the longest time, and eventually we just stopped talking about it because we knew we weren't going to get it? This is the first time we've actually seen it.
Mhm. I would still prefer a 3-5-2, but we play more of a
Same.
3-4-3. But
Yeah.
no, we should give it more of a shot. And I want to see it with better players, right? Have a better center back instead of Blackman. Have someone in the midfield there. Honestly, McKennie, Musa, Johnny, whoever you want over Rodon. They talk about, for example, oh, Johnny and Tyler would be too pragmatic. Would you not prefer to have Johnny than Rodon? He'll do as much he'll do more on the ball. So will
Or
Tyler.
any of the other midfielders in this roster,
Tessman
right?
also. Yeah, that too.
So Japan B asterisk win. Poch ain't fooling me. Mentioned this month was the last month for experiments. Let's see the roster. Subs still bad though. Yeah, the subs were terrible. Terrible substitutions. Um Devonta Jones. Thank you. And Semper. I don't know much about McGlynn, but what I see is a big guy, tall guy for sure, with a decent left foot, almost a banger. What are your guys' thoughts on him? Look, McGlynn is a young player with some promise, and we've always known that he's had a banger of a left foot. I thought he played quite well today. I don't think he makes anywhere near our A team yet, though. I think he needs to prove it at a higher level. And by I mean a higher level, I mean do it against, if it was Japan's A team, sure, but this was Japan's B team, and we have to take that with a grain of salt. For me, McGlynn still struggles when the pace of the game speeds up, right? And that's something he needs to continue to work on. I don't think he's going to work on that in MLS. For me, he needs to try and push to get out of MLS and go somewhere where he can continue to improve. He's always had a banger of a left foot ever since his days in the U20s. We've always known this about McGlynn. His problem is speed of play. His technical level, when the speed of play goes up and space gets compressed, he tends to struggle. But he had a good 20, 30 minutes today. So credit to him there. Very happy we won. Okay, crashing back to reality. But I fear this game will give players who absolutely shouldn't be here more call-ups. Yeah, I think you're going to get that regardless. It's Pochettino. I still fear Poch will F up our home World Cup. 100%. 100%. And that's a legitimate fear because all of the data that we have on Poch is that he's going to keep doing this. Now, he has said this is our last camp to experiment. So anybody called up in that October camp, you can safely assume that's a World Cup roster player, right? Tack, tell me more about Casey Keller's undies. Not sure what that means.
Well, he every time I see him on ESPN, it looks like though his underwear is very tight. He has that face. You know, when you look at a guy and you're like, dude, it's squeezing your balls, ain't it? And you can tell Casey Keller's underwear is too tight. I don't know why. Maybe his wife buys it for him and it's too small, but he should get bigger underwear
Yeah.
or boxers.
Um, Adam Folds, how do you see Ben Kremaski doing at Parma? Can he be a USMNT? For me, right now, Ben Kremaski is a U20 level player. He should go to the U20 World Cup, um, and continue to develop. And I'm like, good for him, right? Good for him for, unlike some players, leaving his comfort zone, getting out of MLS, going to play in a real league. How he does at Parma remains to be seen, right? We'll have to see what he looks like. How can he improve? Certainly one to keep an eye on from the future. I'm not as high on Ben Kremaski as some people are. I think he's a very limited technical player. And I think even in MLS, that has been the case. But good for him. We'll see how he does at Parma. I don't think he's anywhere near this World Cup cycle, but hopefully in the next cycle, he can try to push for something there. The MLS lifers were asked tonight. Correct. F-Man seems decent. Amazing what happens when you have a decent striker. Destin for 10 minutes and almost scored twice. Praying Poch finally figures out who sucks and who is on the level. Keep praying, man. I don't know if Poch, history has shown that Poch does not learn his lesson. Do we actually think Poch cares? No, and we've covered this. I think he's here to collect the check. I think he cares when he gets criticized, but that doesn't mean he cares about the team. He cares when people say he's not doing a good job because he's a sensitive little crybaby. Honestly, this is the weakest criticism he's ever received in his entire life. His entire life. And it is unfortunate to see. But it is what it is. Ah, look, guys, I'm feeling good. Not because this means anything, but because we've been waiting for a win for so long. I'm not talking about against CONCACAF opponents here, right? I'm talking about against better opponents, even if it's their B team. Um, but we'll see. We need to see how we look against Ecuador in October. I'm very curious to see that. We'll see who Poch calls up against Ecuador. For me, the best thing about today was the formation change. I think the back three um, formation suits us a lot better. In fact, let's talk about what a potential 3-5-2 could look like. You could have, say, Freese or Turner in goal. I thought Freese was very good today. A back three of, say, Ream, Richards, and Banks, and then you could bring in Scally and McKenzie as backups, right?
I
Then
mean,
you have
Banks, you don't mean like the World Cup. You mean test him first.
yeah, test him to see how he looks in the next friendlies, for example. And then you could
Yeah,
have
you're
Dest,
gonna get Nathan Harrio and
and you're gonna like it. I
Blackman.
know. I'm just saying,
Maybe
from our
Miles
perspective,
Robinson.
what could we look like under in a 3-5-2? Then you have, let's say, obviously Dest and Arob are the wingbacks. There should be no question about that. Anyone saying Freeman is better than Dest or that Arfston should be over Arob, and you may see some takes like that from some very delusional crew fans. I had an interesting discussion with one of them today. And then you have a midfield where you could potentially get Johnny, Adams, and either Tillman, probably Tillman right now, or Reyna as the 10. And then you play Pulisic as a sort of free floating second striker. He can pull wide at times, he can stay central at
And
times
Balogun or
behind
Pepe.
Balogun or Pepe, right? And then there's alternations to that too. You can play, Tillman or Gio as a floating 10 or as a floating second striker, and you can put Pulisic at the 10.
McKenny can be
Um,
in the double pivot too, or Testman.
McKennie can be in the double pivot. Testman and Morris could offer something in the double pivot. These are the guys that I think we should be trying to train this formation on. And when you're trying a new formation, which Poch finally did, we can now take the A team and put it on top of this formation and see what it looks like, right? So that's something I hope we see, but we have no idea what that October roster is going to look like. That October roster is still very much TBD. What is something you and Tack disagree on? This is a great question, Gabe. I mean, we disagree on player ratings all the time. It's rarely far apart. It's rarely like 5 or 6 points apart. But sometimes we have different perspectives of how a player played. We don't disagree on a lot, but we do from time to time. We mostly disagree on the phone. Tack and I will call each other, and then I'll say, we'll discuss and we'll disagree. Um, but I think we do very much see the game the same way. And to be honest, with this national team, a lot of these things you don't need a genius to figure out. These are very obvious things. And a lot of the fan base, I know a lot of you, even if you disagree with us on small things here and there, you tend to agree with us on a lot. And I think that is because we don't have 25, 30 players that are at the same level. I think if you have that, you'll see a lot more disagreement because the margin is small. But when the margin is as large as it is, there's not much disagreement to be had, right? Like maybe you could disagree over who's a better third choice right back. Is it Freeman or is it Brian Reynolds? I don't know. You could have a discussion about that. You know, who's worse, Walker Zimmerman or Miles Robinson? I don't know. You could disagree on that maybe. But generally speaking, our top players are our top players and they kind of pick themselves. I actually didn't mind Barfson today, probably due to the back three setup, less need for his defense. Here's the problem, though, with that, Joseph, and I agree with you. The problem with Barfson is that he was still getting, if you watch the first half an hour of that game again, Japan beat him down the right multiple times and put crosses in. The difference is people aren't going to remember it because they didn't result in goals. They're going to remember his one cross and say, oh, what a great play. And I think that's not a fair way to evaluate Arsene. I think Arsene is still a huge, huge liability, whether it's at wing back or at left back. And I know some angry fans in the chat are going to be upset. That is how I see it. I also remember that this is Japan's B team. And if he had faced Japan's A team, it would be a very, very different story on our dear friend, Mr. Arsene. Wow. Is the USSF just trolling us? I don't think they're trolling us. I think they're just an extremely corrupt, poorly run mom and pop shop style organization. Nothing against mom and pop shops, by the way, patronize them as much as you can. But for an organization that's supposed to be growing the game in this country and making us better, they're doing a terrible, terrible, terrible job of it. Certified Chad, here's some free money. That's very generous of you, certified
That's a
Chad. We
Chad. That's
appreciate
a
it.
real Chad right
That
there.
is a real certified Chad. Appreciate it very much. Clark, how do you guys rate either George Campbell and James Sands, particularly in a back three? Both play week in and week out for their clubs and are doing well. So Sands, bless his heart, is definitely pushing himself playing for St. Pauli. Let's see how he does over the course of the season. He plays in a very stacked position, though, right? You're talking about a guy who play, Adams, Johnny, Tessman, Morris. There's four guys there that can play in that double pivot if we go with a 3-5-2.
Couldn't he play
So
center back though, if needed?
I know he can play center back. I haven't seen him do it in a long time at a good enough level for me to have enough thoughts on that, though. George Campbell, I've seen very little of. He just got to West Brom and is sort of playing as a right back for them, which is fine. I don't think George Campbell has changed as a player just because he moved to the championship now.
Pete,
But
can you
good for
put
him.
the chat of right below the super chat of 9.99 of AM boxing?
Mm.
Okay, no, not that one. Below AM boxing, right below. Yeah. So AM boxing. Just one thing. You're saying stop with the B team garbage. Japan had Itu and Maeda. So Itu is not the one that you're thinking. The one that I think he left. He's not a starter. And Maeda, he didn't
He's not a
start.
starter either.
No, but Maeda. Wait,
No, Maeda did
Maeda.
start, but he's
He
not a
did
starter.
start, but he's not a starter. The Celtic player, right? So
Also, even if
Minamino
you had two
Luka.
starters, it's still a B team.
No, but they are
So you,
not starters. Those two are
I know
not
they're not.
starters. Itu is also, I believe, not a starter from Genk, the older one. But if you look at our team, Matt Freeze is a starter right now. Richards is a starter. Ream is a starter. Tyler's a starter. Pulisic's a starter. Balogun's a starter. So we have 6 players that are seen as locked-in starters. Then you have a few other guys that in Pochettino's eyes, they might be starters. We have half a team of starters. So it's not the same. But Japan didn't have any starters. Even the
Also,
goalkeeper was the
guys,
backup.
the point of this exercise is we are evaluating our players onto how they will possibly perform in a World Cup, right? So when you evaluate them, you cannot say because they looked a certain way against a B team, they will then look that way against the A teams in the World Cup. You're saying this was their performance against a B team, and then you evaluate it based on that. It doesn't matter. Even if we trotted out a B team, we are still looking at our B team trying to go, how would they look in a World Cup? So you're rating them based on the opponent, right? How did they look against this level of opponent? In the same way that you play El Salvador and you look good against El Salvador, that doesn't mean you're going to look good in a World Cup. You understand the exercise, the thought exercise that you're doing is trying to evaluate players, and you evaluate players on how they looked against a certain quality of opposition. That's why
Could
you say this is Japan's B team.
Because comments like greedy G, it's like it's just really funny to me. It's like when you said you guys are just haters, it's blinding you. It's the other way around. Like we're happy for the win. We're just here to add the context because clearly Greedy G, for example, doesn't have time to do a little bit of research of like who you faced. Because
Yeah,
again, like you can put a bunch of college players with the Japan jersey. It doesn't mean you beat Japan, right? You beat Japan, but you didn't beat Japan. We're just adding the context, not trying to poop on anyone's party. We're trying to give the actual information, which maybe other places lack. And we know a lot of people watching this, a lot of you don't have the time to do the research. You guys just want to sit down, listen, watch the game. So we're doing that for you. That's all we're doing. So
yeah,
understand what's hate and what's adding context. And again, you're
yeah,
saying about being happy. It's a friendly. So I'm happy that we won, but I still haven't seen any progress from this team. I was just gonna put it this way. I am still very concerned about the World Cup, which is where
same.
it matters the most.
Yeah,
I'm
this does
still
not
very
change
concerned.
anything for me.
This didn't create any delusion in my head like, oh, now we're back, we can beat Japan, we're back. I'm still extremely concerned about what will happen next year, when it matters the most. Now winning now is important, of course. Like I'd rather us win every friendly going into the World Cup. I hope we do. I don't think we will. We have some tough friendlies, but at the end of the day, coming into this camp, leaving this camp, I am equally as concerned about the World Cup as I was before. Maybe
Yeah,
now I'm a little bit less than after the Korea game, a little bit, but not too much.
look, I need to see the back three formation with the A team and see how it looks against. Hopefully, Ecuador brings their A team, for example, against good opponents that we're going to face at a World Cup. Then we can, have an honest look at how we might look against these teams. And even then, friendlies are tough because nobody puts the same level of intensity into a friendly as they do into a World Cup game.
Pete,
That's where the
we tied France right before they won the World Cup in a friendly. We tied
yeah,
France. I think people forget that. We failed to qualify to the 2018 World Cup. We had a friendly. The friendly with France was in June, right? It was when they were preparing. Yeah.
yeah,
So we played a friendly with the French team that won the World Cup and we tied them. Julian Green scored in that game.
yeah.
So it's important to win it, but guys, let's use our brains, all of us, please.
Got a survey from USSF after going to last game. Was happy to voice my thoughts until they only asked how much I spent. Of course, that's primarily what they care about. How I heard about the game. Weird. And what sponsors did I see? You see, they they didn't ask you how you think the program's going. How excited are you for this team? They want to know how much bucksheesh you spend because that is US soccer to a T. If one fan was going to give them more money than all the fans in the stadium. Like if Elon Musk, for example, said, I will give you $10 million to sit in the stands, and they said, okay, but if we fill up the stadium, we'll only make you know, $4 million, they would 100% prefer that. They're not interested in growing the game. They're not. Okay. So yeah, that survey sounds just about right. Jean Pierre Castro, I'll let you answer this tack because you're more familiar with the Brasileirão than me. Great win for the US. Do you guys think Zendejas could play in a competitive league like the Brasileirão?
Yeah, I mean, he plays in for Club America. Club and he starts. Club America could play in the Brasileirão, they would be fine. So yeah, of course he could play. Now, would he do as well as in Liga MX? Probably not. The league is a bit better, but yeah, he could definitely play.
Vokra, side note, USSF should really consider hosting more USMNT games in Columbus. Dude, they host so many games in Columbus.
Yeah.
Crowd noticeably more into it than crowds we've seen recently, especially considering it's a Tuesday night. No, I agree. The Columbus crowd usually does show up, but there's plenty of games played in Columbus. The problem is that they don't actually play games as much around the nation around the country as they should, particularly in
We should
areas
try to
where it's
win more
heavily
fans
Latino.
over. We should try to win more fans over. So
Yeah. Okay. Roll down my goat, Art Jude Bellingham. Excellent trolling, Jorge. Prime technical ability, Gio or Johnny? Well, they're different players.
well, technical ability,
Johnny
probably
is,
Gio.
yeah, probably Gio. Technique has never been the issue with Gio. It's been injuries and other issues. Um, Question for Tack. Your thoughts on the Brazil versus Bolivia match? As a Bolivian, I am so damn happy.
Yeah, Bolivia put the game in Alto instead of La Paz, which is even higher altitude. and Brazil literally showed they didn't give a crap. I think if Brazil could have, they would have sent the U20s. So Brazil let a few players go. They brought in a bunch of reserves, and Bolivia actually won. In Bolivia, they qualified to the Interconfederate playoff. They might be in the World Cup. Well, they're
Just
going to have
wanted
to.
to say this is from Oliver. Keep up the good work, guys. And me, Bolivia made it to the repechaje.
Yeah,
Job's not finished, but we almost there.
repescagem, yeah.
Repescaje.
Yeah,
Repescaje.
I mean, it's in Portuguese. I don't know how to say it in Spanish.
What positives can we take away from this match other than using a back three? And what do we need to see in October for October to be a good window? It's a great question. I will say the number one positive is Balogun getting a goal. I think that'll be good for his confidence. I thought he had looked shaky in the first half, but looked a lot better in the second half. It's still going to take him maybe a little bit of time to find his full form, but hopefully he stays healthy with Monaco, continues banging in goals for them, and shows up to the World Cup healthy because a healthy, fit Balogun, for me, it's not even a question. He's our number one striker, and Pepe is his backup, right? So that was a huge positive. Just getting the win was a positive, and that second half, especially being able to defend in a low block and sort of let Japan have the ball and hit them in transition, which, by the way, we did quite well. I thought in the last half an hour after the second goal, we sat back and just defended for our lives. And then it gave us quite a fair few of transition opportunities with Dest and Balogun on the field. So in that sense, it was a positive because we didn't let them score. We were able to adjust our tactics to what they were doing or to accommodate the scoreline rather. And so that
Well,
was good to see.
Pulisic also coming to life in the second half had a
Yeah,
few
because
good
he was
moments.
very poor in the first half. Very
Well, in
poor.
the first game too, it's been poor for a while, but in the second half, Pulisic actually looked pretty good, and he got a very good assist when Balogun scored. Another positive, Richards again, rock solid. Matt Freeze, very positive too, was good in the first game despite conceding 2 goals that were not his fault. This game, Matt Freeze he's going to be up there, arguably our best player, right? Especially in the first half. Matt Freeze was quite good. There are plenty of positives to talk about. And yes, even though it's a friendly, getting the win is actually very important. We haven't beat a top 30 opponent in forever. And again, we know it's Japan's B team, whatever. We can talk about that. We talked about that already. But we finally beat someone not named like Guatemala or Trinidad and Tobago. And hopefully
Yeah.
the players can carry that as a morale boost and we can see a better version of this team in October. We're going to play Ecuador. We're going to play Australia because again, I know they're friendlies, but it's kind of important to get a few wins so the team can actually build some confidence coming into the World Cup. And then lastly, I thought, and I talked about this when we opened the stream, one positive, regardless of who's playing, towards the end of the game, the players actually did what they had to do to hold on to a win. We didn't try to get
Mhm.
a third goal. We're just like, you know what, 2-0 lead, 5 minutes, boot the ball forward.
Well, we tried to get a third goal in transition, but we
Not in
didn't
the
go
last
full attack.
not in the last like 5 minutes when it was close.
Yeah,
Like
no.
we were trying before, but probably Pochettino told someone told the players there was 5 minutes left. And they just said, okay, 5 minutes, you got a 2-0 lead. You can even afford to make one mistake. So let's just get the win. And I know it's just a friendly, so you may be saying, what is that for? Well, it's good to have that in your mind. When we're playing a World Cup game, you have a lead like that, you have to do it. Brazil was knocked out in 2022 because they didn't do that against
Yeah,
Croatia, right? Brazil literally got
yeah.
knocked out because of that. And the players today, it seems like someone turned the switch on, right? It's like, okay, hold on to the 2-0 win. And they did it. We held a clean
And
sheet.
yes. And also to finish his question, what do we need in October for it to look like a success? I'll tell you right now, we need to add the rest of the A team to this. Okay. So bring Matt Turner, bring Joe Scally, bring Mark McKenzie, bring A Rob, bring Malik Tillman, bring Pepe, bring Gio if he's playing for Gladbach, bring Tessman, bring Morris, bring McKenny. Okay. Those 10 players added to this team, and then try the proper
Leave Johnny
3-5-2.
out.
Oh, Johnny, 11. Johnny, of course. 11
Is there
players.
anyone else? Wait. Is there anyone else?
Maybe
Musa.
Musa, but I'm not crying
Musa.
for Musa. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like I'm not crying. Would I rather have Musa than Roldan? Sure, but I don't think Musa has done enough unless he starts balling out with Atalanta.
Okay.
It's sort of
Question for you: is Musa a better right wing back than Alex Freeman?
probably, yeah,
I would think so.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah. You could have Musa there as the right wing back behind Dest, for sure. And then you can also have Dest as A-Rob's backup, so you don't have to see Arfs in there. Dest played on the left today and looked quite good, especially in transition. But I think that's what we need to see. We need to see this back three tried, but not a 3-4-3, because I don't think that's really our best formation, considering the midfielders that we have. Make it a 3-5-2, bring our A team, beat Australia, and at least look very good against Ecuador. Ecuador's a tough team to play right now, but at least we need to look good against them, and we need to beat Australia with our A team trying this new formation. And we need to see progress in Poch's player evaluation, skills. Was Way a bench, or was it the injury from SK game? Maybe a little of both. It looked mostly like the injury. It is weird that both Noakai Banks and Weah didn't see any minutes because of previous injuries, but at the same time, Roldan, who played the League's Cup final injured, had no problem playing 2 games and 90 minutes today. Lewis, did I miss yours? Poch utilized Ballo better than Triple G. Agreed. This last one here, Criminal not getting Banks on the field, will be at the Ecuador game. Fingers crossed it's a full squad. Appreciate the work y'all do. Oh, of course, you're very welcome, and I agree with you. Good luck at the Ecuador game. Hopefully we get a better, roster than this one. I think let's go into player ratings, because a lot of that I think is quite pertinent to what we're trying to do. But before we do, I have a quick ad for you guys from my sponsor, Patreon. It's a lot of sponsors. It's all of you guys who help to support the channel through Patreon.
Patreon is not only a great way to support the channel, it's filled with elite content I can't put out on YouTube. The top 10 that you see on YouTube every week, that's available on the Patreon with the actual clips from the game instead of just a sketched screenshot. After every USMNT game, I put a 20-minute breakdown of the game with my commentary and tactical insights, usually things I didn't always catch the first time around in the post-game stream. With the Under-17 and Under-20 World Cups coming up, I plan to do the same for these 2 tournaments just like I did last time. There's also extra content like young player scouting reports or all-touch comps from certain players of interest. Thanks to everybody who is already supporting the channel via Patreon. It really helps to keep me going and continuing to do what I do.
So if you do want to check out the Patreon, guys, the link is in the description. I realize it wasn't in the last video. That is my bad. But thank you to everybody who went and found me on Patreon anyways and signed up. You can go check that out in the description below. Tack, let's do player ratings, and then I do have to get going. I have work. Work never stops. Matt Freese, I think for me, one of our best players today. I'm going to give him an 8.
I'm going to be nice. I'm just going to give him a 9. What else can we ask for him? When the ball went to his feet, he was pretty safe with it. He's not brilliant with his feet, and he's aware of that. So he played it safe. Did he make a single mistake with any of the saves? Didn't drop a ball.
There was one that came to him that he kind of fumbled out for a corner, which I thought maybe he should have caught it. It was early in the second half at the near post. But
yeah, I'm giving him a 9.
At best, that might be splitting hairs. I think generally he had a very, very good game. And if I'm Matt Turner, Matt Turner should be nervous. For the next camp, would you give them a game each?
No, Matt Freese is the starter now until proven otherwise. I would keep him
until he starts making a bunch of mistakes.
I think it's time to play our starting 11. We need to start preparing for the World Cup. So yeah, I would just play Matt Freese. He's a starter.
Fair enough. Freeman, you want to go first on Freeman?
Yeah, I think people are going to call me a hater on this. I actually thought defensively, for the most part, he was good. And even with Mitoma, he did a great job on Mitoma. And I thought offensively, he would kill the offense for the most part. Very slow when he gets the ball, can't combine, bad passes. But because he was very solid on defense, he was almost like the bizarro version of Barston.
Yeah, he's the reverse of Barston.
Yeah, reverse Barston. Even though in MLS, he's usually very good going forward, Alex Freeman, for Orlando.
Yeah,
but this game, he was the reverse Arston. I'm going to give him a 4 in this game, below average. I didn't think it was a good. I can't give him a 5. It wasn't average. It wasn't a good performance from Freeman, besides the defense. And he was playing as a wing back, so you would expect him to offer more on offense, and he didn't.
Yeah, no. What was interesting was that he can run very quickly without the ball. So when he's making a run into space, he's got a good stride on him. But then once he gets the ball, useless. He kills it. I'm going to give him a 5, just because it's good defensively, which was nice to see. Poor in the attack. Richards. I'll go first on Richards. I'll give him a 7.5. I thought he was good, but he did have that one giveaway that ended up in a shot on target, and he has to clean that up because in a World Cup that could be a goal very easily, right? So that
Mhm.
giveaway was poor, but other than that, he was very, very solid. And I think one of
Yeah.
the reasons we got a clean sheet today.
I mean, I don't have anything to add in terms of what you said about Richards. I'm just gonna give him 7, just because I guess it's the same shit, right? But I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. You go
Who's
first
next?
on Ream.
I thought Reem was our best center back today overall,
Mm.
at least in
Did you?
terms of. Yeah, I thought he was. I thought he was. I'll give Reem a 7.5. I don't
He didn't
remember.
have
I
that
I
giveaway.
when
He
you.
didn't, I'm saying, like
Yeah, he
Richards. He
didn't.
didn't
Yeah,
have that giveaway.
I don't remember a mistake from Reem. I saw him winning the aerial duels that he had. Every time he was tested, I didn't see him getting exposed. I'm giving him a 7.5. I thought he was the best of the bunch today. I actually didn't think Blackman was bad either today. We'll talk about that in a second.
I'll give Blackman I thought he was bad, dude. I mean, he wasn't as
Really?
bad as he was against South Korea, but he still had some bad giveaways on the ball. I'm going to give him a 4.
Okay. I was going to give Blackman a 5. I thought it was an average game from him. He wasn't overly tested defensively, to be fair, right? When he was tested on the other game, the opponent scored. I'm going to give Blackman a 5. I still think he should be nowhere near the national team. It doesn't change my opinion on him, but I'll
Yeah.
say average.
You go. We went first on Blackman. So Arfson, I was going to give a 3 to Arfson. Because he's defensively terrible. And like we talked about with his cross, it was a good cross into a dangerous area. But let's be honest, all that work was done by Zendejas. I will bump him up 2 spots for the assist, even though that was a quality finish by Zendejas more than a real assist. That like, oh my god, he put it on his head in front of goal. I'll give him a 5, and only because of that assist. Defensively, he is a huge liability, and I still don't think he was that good in the attack. Like, he didn't really do anything in the attack apart from that assist.
He hit a weak shot on target. That's about it. There was a very weak shot
That
that he
was
hit on
terrible.
target.
That was not good. If the
Yeah,
goalie can catch it, it's not a good shot.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5 as well. I already stated my opinion about the assist on the stream. I thought the 1v1, the step over, that was good. That was the good portion of it. The cross itself was not good, right? It required Zendejas hitting an incredible like it didn't even hit the ground. He probably crossed looking for a header. And we talked about it in the stream on the live watch along how sometimes a player will deliver a perfect cross and then the center forward will miss a very easy header. He'll miss it. And
Mhm.
then no one will talk about that cross because the center forward blew it. Now, Arfston put up a cross that wasn't great. And Zendejas found a way to score a beautiful goal, which if Zendejas missed the ball or just went through with it or got blocked, no one would talk about that cross because it wasn't good. So,
Yeah.
but I'll give Arston a 5. Out of the USMNT performances that he's had, that was surprisingly one of the best ones, though.
Yeah. Um, was watching the stream a bit behind and heard that someone said it wasn't Japan's A team. As a former American who's now a Japanese citizen, it's their B team. Yeah, 100% it's their B team, guys. 100%. Is this a signature win? I don't think you can call beating Japan's team a signature win. Okay, let's put the brakes. Agi clears Sargent. You're about to find out in the championship Agyemang's level. I'll just say that to you, Johnny. He doesn't clear Sargent. No. Other players might. I think Haji Wright probably deserves a look in the October cap as the third striker, but let's be real about Agyemang. It's not even close. All right, midfield. Adams. You go first on Adams.
Little hectic, right?
I'm going to give him a 5 because I think at times he was very good defensively, but at times just not great. Some bad turnovers again, like he had against South Korea, and I don't think impacted the game with the ball enough either. And maybe you could say that's not his game. That's why I'm giving him a 5. I think he
I,
mostly tried, but he had enough sloppy giveaways, and I don't think he really stamped his authority on that midfield in the way you would want him to.
I think one glaring issue this camp was both times when Tyler Adams played in the double pivot, or not double pivot, the player next to him in central midfield. It was another player that wasn't really good on the ball. Today was Roldan for the most part. The first game was Sebastian Berhalter, and that required Tyler to be something that he's not. He's not a guy that gets the ball and makes things happen. He'll do the simple pass. He'll find Tillman, and then Tillman can do something, or he'll quickly
Sure.
find Gio Reyna, or honestly even McKennie. McKennie's good on the ball. Um, So I think he was not really put, and people are going to think this is an excuse. I'm far from a Tyler Adams apologist. I've been called a Tyler Adams hater. It's just that you watch him for Bournemouth, they understand how to use him. I don't think we should utilize him this way. And if you put Tyler in the midfield, you should have a guy that's good on the ball next to him, so he doesn't have to do that. Yeah.
Except ideally 2 guys that are good on the ball. So if you have Johnny and Tillman, right, or Johnny and Gio, that's a big opportunity there.
So I'm giving Tyler a 5.
Okay, that's fair. Next, Roldan is a 2 for me, 2.5. I'll give him 2.5, and I think that's generous. I thought he was a passenger. He constantly gave the ball away, offered nothing in the attack. He actually had a chance to get a goal. He got released in the box in the dying minutes of the game, and he just ran to the defender and fell down. It was like, what are we seeing from this guy that's any different than what we saw from him the entire Berhalter era? This guy is now at 39 caps, and he's still playing soccer. And despite whatever Max Bretos would have you believe, he was not good today. 2.5.
Yeah, I'll be a bit kinder. I'll give him a 3.5. I thought he was bad for most of the game. Towards the end, at least defensively, he was helping the team. But again, it was the same Roldan as always, just like effort, running crazy, offering nothing on the ball. Just not a good player for the standard that we want. A decent
Well,
player
that
from the
goal
left.
when Japan rattled the post in the second half, remember that shot from distance? That was
Uh-huh.
straight off a Roldan giveaway. He passed it to him, and he just shot. And if that goes 1 inch below, that's a 1 for Roldan, because then we concede because of him.
Yeah.
Commerce City, Colorado is 5,000 feet. Is that the next game
I don't know. We playing
Is it-
Colorado?
in Ecuador? Are we playing them in Colorado? I'm not sure.
Why would we
Not
play
sure.
Ecuador in the altitude? They literally are used to playing in the altitude.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think we're playing them. Just
Are
give
we?
us the context to the super chat. Meanwhile, let's move to Christian Pulisic.
Just
I'll go.
3.5 for Roldan, but go ahead.
Christian Pulisic is, what is this doing here?
You can just
Christian
leave it. Those are
Pulisic,
just the comments.
comments. Pulisic to me had a very poor first half, I thought. But he made up for it in the second half by playing really well and getting a good slip pass. Have you noticed Balogun's goals? Remember that one from Gio Reyna? It was also a slipped pass in behind against Canada. And this was very similar, right in the channel, and then he finds the far post. I'm going to give Pulisic I would have given him a 4 on the first half, but he was okay, first half, I actually would have given him a 3, but I would have given him an 8 on the second half performance. So I'll give him a 6.5. Well, I'll bump it up to 7 because he got the assist. But the second half, Pulisic was a lot better.
Yeah, I think somewhere between 6.5, 6, or 7, any of that would be fair for Pulisic, mainly because of the second half. The first half was very poor.
Yeah.
Didn't really do crap in the first half besides to lose the ball countless times. But in the second half, he had a good moment where he dribbled past, I think, 2 opponents, got a nice finish, but the goalkeeper was well positioned. He had another moment where he blew by 1 player and he got a cross shot. I wasn't really certain of what he was trying to do. And then he got the assist, which was not an easy assist, right? He was running with the ball and he put that ball, the weight that he put on the ball was perfectly placed. So I'll put Pulisic at a 7. I'll give him a 7. I think why not? It was a very good second. If he can consistently do what he did in the second half, that's what we want to see from him. And that's his level. That's his actual level.
Balogun. I'm giving Balogun, again, I thought he was poor in the first half also. I thought sloppy with the ball, not holding it up well. Second half, completely different game and gets the goal. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the same as Pulisic, a 7. It was a nice finish also, by the way, from him, but
Yeah.
it was a pretty bad first half, to say the least. So I guess Balogun was a similar game to Pulisic. Similar
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Bad first half, second half he was good, got the goal. Not an easy goal, not a tap in. So I'll give him a 7.
I'm giving Zendejas an 8.5 because I thought he was generally dangerous throughout. Not perfect. Here are still some times where you see his level that he still has to improve, but banger of a goal. Banger of a goal. I don't know if he'll ever score one like that in his life again. But he hit
He
it
was
well.
also the most fouled player, by the way.
Yeah, he was. That is true. They fouled him a lot. I'll give him an 8.5.
Yeah, I'll give Zendejas an 8. Also, we can't overemphasize how important his goal was for the win. because
Yeah.
Japan outplayed us in the first half. It could have
Yes.
easily
Kill
ended
that goal.
0-0, or honestly, Japan scored a goal. When you score, it changes the momentum. And it was a goal that just gave the US a massive morale boost, right?
Yeah.
The way it scored. So I'll give Zendejas an 8.
Moving on to the subs now. Let's go Dest. You want to go first on Dest?
Had a few dangerous moments there playing on as a left wing back, right? Got a shot on target. Did it hit the target? I hit the target.
Yeah, it was a very good save from the keeper.
Yeah, and defensively it was fine. Didn't have
Solid.
any moment where we struggled. I'll give him a 7.
Do you notice that as soon as Arfston got off the field, Japan switched their attack mostly to the left to go attack Freeman? They were like, we're not even going to attack Dest.
Well,
They
I'll
did their
give
homework.
Dest a 7.
Yeah, I think 7 is fair. He was dangerous, especially in transition, and defended well. Jack McGlynn, I thought, was a good threat today. I'm going to give him a 7 as well.
I'll give him a 7.5. Hit 2 really nice shots. One should have been a goal. He deserved that goal.
Yeah, he deserved it. He deserved it. But
Yeah,
a good showing.
and I mean, he did defend well towards the end of the game. He did.
Yeah, he did.
He did a good job. So I'll give him a 7.5.
Who were the other subs?
Luna
Yeah.
actually played well when he came on. He helped
6.
create a few
I'll give him a
chances.
6.
I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7, close
Okay.
to Dest. He had a nice layoff to one of the McGlynn shot was a Luna layoff, and also Luna also had the layoff to Damian Downs. He put Damian Downs on a 1v1 with the goalkeeper, essentially.
Was that Luna or was that Freeman?
It was Luna. It was Luna.
Are you sure? I thought that was Freeman.
No, it was Luna. Luna had a nice layoff. Luna could have easily had an assist. I'm gonna have to put Luna probably with a 7.
Okay, and there was 4 subs for. It wasn't Downs wasn't in that subgroup. So who was the other sub?
De La Torre,
McGlynn?
which was kind of shit. De La Torre.
5. I'll give him 5.
I thought he was
Like,
bad. Kept losing
you
the
thought it
ball.
was bad?
Yeah,
I
bad
thought
touch.
he set up that McGlynn shot for that rattled the post.
I thought there was one that he did set up, not the post. He set up the one that deflected, but he only set it up because he lost the ball and then he kind of poked it. He lost it.
Do you want to give him a 4?
I'm giving him a 4, yeah.
Okay. Downs should have scored that, to be honest. You have to score that goal.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he had a ton of time on the field to show much than that. I'll give him a 4 because I think he has to finish that at least.
Yeah, he had a good moment here and there, but it was also 10 minutes. I'm not going to really rate Damian Downs or Nathan Harriel. Yeah. I'm just going to skip it.
Definitely doesn't get a rating. Let's do Pochettino then. Got the win. So still a shitty lineup. Lucky this is Japan's B team. But did get the win and experimented with a new formation, and his subs were not as bad as usual. Sometimes they were worse players, like we didn't have to watch Berhalter come off.
I mean, let's put it this way, too. He did choose to put Nathan Harriel instead of
I know. That alone should deduct you like 3 points.
Because I don't get it. He said that we're here to test. We've seen Nathan Harriel. Wasn't this the moment to test Noah Kai Banks? Because look, if Noah Kai Banks came on and looked completely out of his depth, then like, yeah, he's not ready. Give him time.
Yeah.
But we still don't know. We still don't know. I'll give Pochettino a 5, and that's a bump from the win. A 5.
Yeah. That's a bump from the win and trying something new with the formation. That seemed to work. That's it, guys. I'm going to have the Patreon video out tomorrow. This is relatively encouraging. Can't get carried away, but a win is nice. We'll go back into the European season tomorrow. I'll have the Patreon breakdown of this game out. I actually think there's more interesting things to talk about than there usually is. Tack, you're going to do the 7 things we learned?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about.
Thanks for everything, guys. Like I said, if you want to check out the Patreon, it's in the link is in the description below. At the very least, hit that like button before you leave. We move. Last 2 super chats. Imagine how great Zendejas would be if he had the bear like Heart of Roldan. Maybe unstoppable.
He has some fight in him, though. Zendejas has some
he
fight
does.
in
He
him.
has a lot of fight in him. All in, I'm just thankful Zawadzki was there. Zawadzki actually went home. He got an injury, believe it or not. But that's it, guys. I have to run. Otherwise, this would normally be a bit longer. We'll see you guys soon. At least we got a win.